Welcome to Rated Radio, the show where artists and albums are pitted against each other while their songs get rated on a scale of 0 to 10. I'm your host, Shane Wyndham, and this is the BLINK-182 Deep Dive. Hope you're ready for a fight. Of the three albums, we're going to start with the one that rolled at random. I picked the other two, but first up is Take Off Your Pants and Jacket from 2001. This was my middle album. Of the 13 tracks, I thought 5 were great, and none of them got a flawless rating. My bottom track was Happy Holidays, You Bastard, and my top track was, surprisingly, The Rock Show. The music makes me feel like I'm in an alternate universe where some class clowns wrote Goo Goo Dolls' A Boy Named Goo album. Next up was the self-titled BLINK-182 from 2003. This was my bottom album. Of the 15 tracks, I still thought 7 were great, and none of them got a flawless rating. My bottom track was The Fallen Interlude, and my top track remains I Miss You. The music makes me feel like I'm a mostly vapid teenager who's all over the emotional map. Last up was California, the deluxe edition from 2017. This was my top album. Of the 28 tracks, I thought 24 were great, and one of them got a flawless rating. I did top and bottom for both discs. This was a double disc. Bottom tracks were Bohemian Rhapsody and Can't Get You More Pregnant. Top tracks, San Diego and Long Lost Feeling. The music makes me feel like I'll always be cool no matter how old I get. I won't pretend like a winner was at all hard to pick in this set. If I didn't make it stupidly obvious in the previous Blink coverage on the podcast, I'm verging on obsession with the albums this group put out with Matt Skiba, and California is one of those albums. Much like Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets department, California's double disc manages being impressive in its ability to retain a stream of solid songwriting, which understandably feels like a rarity in the music world. It's not that I don't like Tom either. On the contrary, I've been overjoyed with a lot of his work, both with and without BLINK-182, but I think Matt's influence drives Mark into a much more mature direction when it comes to lyrics and structures than Tom tends to. Travis is impressive no matter where you land in the discography, so he's rarely my measure. Some of the negativity I've seen California and Nine deal with strikes me as unserious, and I could totally see how, for many old school fans of this group, a group known for their silliness, a bunch of maturation wouldn't be welcome. But I'm one of those fans who always felt most at home with Blink when they struck an emotional nerve, be it Adam's song, I Miss You, or Stay Together for the Kids. Secondary to this was always those punchy alt-pop moments from tracks like Anthem, The Rock Show, or Feeling This. The balance in those two facets of their sound is 75-25 as a personal preference for this listener, and California delivers that balance, while also doing it in the majority, while also having more thoughtful lyrics, while also upping the intricacy and clarity of the productions, etc. I'm of the opinion that Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is a solid listen, especially in terms of the instrumentals. I don't love most tracks, but I do think they're worthwhile and somewhat fun to listen to beyond the heavy hitters. Also, I don't hate the self-titled disc. I do disagree with a lot of the professional reviewers talking about it as though its attempts at sounding more grown up in a few spots made it better than discs like Enema. Seriously, get the fuck out of here. Or as though The Cure's frontman showing up on a single song redeemed the LP in all places. In truth, the self-titled album is one of those that's about half hits, some of which are scraping by on the skin of their teeth. The rest could be lived without because they're underbaked. The group has some super common flaws holding many of their hits back from perfection, such as bland bridges, repetitious endings, and so on, but I continue to respect the enduring appeal of their unique delivery. The drums alone would always make this group listenable, and now that I'm free to cover the rest of their music on the Patreon page, I intend to have their most recent album covered there by the time this episode releases. Something tells me I'm going to miss Skiba, but I'm open to being wrong. Please like or comment if you're still listening, and remember, you can send all kinds of feedback to rated_radio@yahoo.com. You can even see the majority of songs I rate by clicking join for free at patreon.com/ratedradio. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. Until next time, fill your world with music.